Okay, great. Let's get started with today's event. Welcome everyone to today's 70DU panel discussion, AP Test, a new game changer in college admissions. Today, we have invited several 70DU AP teachers here to share their insights on how each subject's trends have changed, as well as we've also invited 70DU's founder and co-founder who are here to discuss how AP Test will impact college applications starting now. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's event. So first of all, I just wanted to look at today's meeting agenda to give you guys a good idea of what to expect. So for the first half until 7:10 p.m. or so, we will have our panel discussion where we will meet 70DU's AP teachers for all of the subjects, and they'll each discuss the latest trends in their various subjects. And more importantly, there will be time for each panelist to answer any questions from you guys, the audience. We see your questions already in the Q&A box, and we'll try to address those as soon as possible. So everyone else, make sure to also have questions ready to submit to us. We also have some questions submitted to us by audience members beforehand that we'll also cover as well. Now at 7:10, we're going to move into our keynote session where 70DU's founder and co-founder will answer the very important question, how do AP tests impact college applications now? Now, there have been many changes this year, and we want to hear from our experts on how this impacts you. And now the last part I'm very excited about. At the end of this event, we will have a lucky draw giveaway where all attendees will have the opportunity to win a full version of 70DU's AP cheat sheet package for up to 3 different AP subjects. This cheat sheet package is going to greatly help all of you guys in your studying, so make sure to stay until the very end to find out who the winners are. And so you might be wondering, how can I be eligible to win this giveaway? So all you guys have to do is, again, stay until the end of this event and also fill out this Google form that I'm sending into the chat right now. So this form just asks for your name and your email so that we are able to contact you afterwards if you end up winning the AP cheat sheet. So I will give everyone around 20 seconds right now to fill it out before I move on. Okay, great. I'm starting to see a lot of responses come in already. So without wasting any time, let's just get started. So first, I want to introduce everyone to our incredibly talented panel of 70DU teachers and counselors who are here with us today. So first, let's meet June. As the founder of 70DU, June is now the head of counselors and has over 17 years of experience in counseling and test preparation. June's skilled expertise in educational consulting has helped many students achieve successful admissions into top universities that you guys all know of, including Harvard, MIT, Columbia, UPenn, Cornell, UC Berkeley, UCLA, Stanford, and more. Now, next up, I want you guys to meet 70DU's co-founder, Dr. Yan. With a PhD in industrial engineering and formerly a postdoc at Stanford University, Dr. Yan boasts more than 20 years of mentoring experience in engineering, mathematics, statistics, and academic reading and writing to both high school, college, and graduate students in China and the US. Dr. Yan is going to be here today to talk to everyone about subjects like the AP Calculus exams, as well as AP Statistics. Now, next up, we have Dr. Nima. With a PhD in English literature, it only makes sense that he is our AP English subject expert here today. Dr. Nima has over 10 years of hands-on classroom experience, and he really understands that the language challenges that students face today transcend standardized tests such as the APs. Now, next up, let's meet Mary, our AP Science subject expert. After Mary got her bachelor's in biochemistry, she's been teaching a variety of students on how to excel and really see a future in science subjects. Mary has a really great passion for educating others, including in subjects like physics, biology, chemistry, as well as standardized tests. Now, lastly, we have Dale, who has a master's in education and a bachelor's in history and political science. So as such, he'll be our AP social science subject expert today. Dale has over 20 years of experience in social studies curriculum design and implementation, including co-authoring 3 teacher resource manuals for the teaching of pre-AP and AP social studies courses. Okay, wow, what an impressive group of people. And so now, June, if you're ready, I'm going to pass it over to you, who will get started on our panel discussion for today.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Anne, and thank you everybody to join our seminar to hear what is changes. Okay, so the reason why we want to set up this seminar, because we want to reach out to many of the students who are going to take the AP this year, this May, and we want to give the biggest support ever. And so I'm so honored to invite Dr. Yan, Dr. Johnny Man, and Miss Mary, and Mr. Dell to give advice. And first of all, let's start with Dr. Neiman. Hey, Dr. Neiman.
Hey June, how are you?
I'm doing great. Oh my God. I just, every time I see your smile, I just feel like happy immediately. Like all the students told me. All right. They just really love to see you. All
Good.
right. So Dr. Neiman, so I want you to tell and share with us what is the trend and the changes of the AP test this year?
I think the first thing I want to emphasize to you guys is not so much change or evolution. They are changing with the digital administration along with the paper administration, but the fundamental content is not going to change. And so that's one of my biggest strengths as an educator and a teacher is the commitment to literary analysis that is not changing. And I don't think that AP can afford to make any major adjustments to the content. And so my biggest focus is keeping you guys dialed in to what has always been the core fundamental foundation that you really need to succeed on AP English Lit and Comp. Um, One person mentioned in the chat, and I kind of wanted to address this in my chat too, is that I think people underestimate the significance of AP exams and universities really assessing the writing suite of skills that you guys have. I've noticed over time that you guys see this too. The SAT essay is now being done away with. And so it seems like there's this trend where certain writing components of your application are falling away. And I know from working at UCI, and I get to see sort of behind the scenes what's going on there at the university level, that as an institution, a major UC institution, the school struggles to place everybody in appropriate writing classes. And so as an applicant, if you can give them more information about where you stand in terms of your writing and reading ability, that is something that is always a positive and it will always influence your application in a really strong way. And so I always want to coach you guys and think through not thinking, oh, if it's not required or not optional, or if I don't have to do the AP, I shouldn't do it. That you should be trying to give your AdCom committees as much information as possible because it makes their job so much easier. And so I really try to focus on coaching you guys into the core fundamentals. Um, I was going to give you guys, let's see, I'm about 2 minutes in. I was going to talk a bit too about those fundamentals and thinking through how the way I work with you guys in class is a little bit different than how you work in school. And something I've noticed about the way a lot of people do lit analysis in their classes for school is that you guys sort of get coached into broad spectrum commentary and analysis when you write. And I think you guys recognize this with like theme-based language. And I see this with my college freshmen. Like they always say like, the theme is this, and then they give you like a one word like revenge or death or something like that. And so one of the biggest muscles that we're going to build in class is a close reading muscle that you can start to discern nuance between small word choices, like for example, childlike versus childish. And so childlike has a positive valence where there's earnestness and sincerity, whereas childish has a negative valence like immaturity. And so that kind of hold on small word choice nuance works not only for the multiple choice aspect of the AP exam, but it also cuts toward improving your score on the FRQs as well. So that instead of making really broad stroke analysis when you're writing your on the spot essays, I'm going to coach you into making really nuanced claims based off of particular language. I wanted to give you guys an example, like the most corny, cliched example from Hamlet, like to be or not to be. And people will say, this quote is about death or something of that nature. One really simple way you can take a cliched comment that would really sink your score on an FRQ is to make this kind of analysis. If you notice the negation cue with not, you can make a claim that Hamlet is not just meditating or contemplating death, but he is thinking dichotomous thoughts. He's thinking in opposites. So you're no longer making a general comment about what is the topic of what is going on in the drama or the play, but you're making an analytical insight about how he's thinking and how dichotomous thinking might prove problematic for the conundrum he faces as a character. So that's like one of the pivots that I work with you guys on is getting away from theme and topic into nuance. And so it works really great for both the multiple choice and the FRQs.
Well, Thank you, John. I was about to ask you what is the key message to students. You already told everything. Okay, so now I want to ask you. So for many of the students, they say, what is the biggest challenge for AP English, like AP Lang and AP language?
I think the biggest challenge is when you guys are writing on the spot, which you have to do, you have to write 3 on the spot essays. You tend to write linearly from start to finish, and you don't outline enough before you start. And so when I work with you guys on FRQs, we work really aggressively on getting a 3-pronged outline set up before you start writing. Because if you start writing without a very clear bird's eye view of where you're going to go, I've had really bright students who this happens to. They implode when they write the essay, because if you don't have the overall structure and foundation set up, the brain will wander all over the place. And then when you get to the end, there was no core guiding argumentative claim. And so I think the biggest struggle is not following a spontaneous, improvised structure and committing to structure before you write. And they call that nonlinear writing. So I always coach you guys into thinking from the middle out, from your evidence, and then building back to a claim and a thesis, not starting with a weak thesis and then sort of fumbling your way through. Yeah.
All right, that's great. That's a good point. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Newman, I know you are, I mean, everybody knows, so we should let them to understand as a professor, and your point of view actually is like really delivered information about, what the college really want to see from the students. So, here's a question from one of the students. So, as if it's a STEM students, like they want to go for science direction, do you feel like they still should take the AP English and the AP Literature?
I think that you can, and especially if you're thinking of wanting to explore your STEM classes more in depth when you are finally enrolled at college. I know at UCI, if you pass your AP, you can test out of certain lower div writing classes, which really frees up your schedule so that you don't have to jump through as many hoops, which actually makes it much easier to explore your interests. And so I do think it's to use the slang that you guys would use. It's a big flex too, that if you're in STEM and you can show that your control over language is really strong. I know for a fact, because I also work in the engineering department, I do work on their peer-reviewed articles and I help edit. And there is a real problem nowadays with people getting into STEM and having excellent sort of math knowledge, but that their writing is so weak that it's holding them back from publishing and doing different things. And so I would never think of it as something that isn't useful, even if you're in STEM. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Neiman. So
Yeah.
last question, compare AP English literature and AP English, like AP language. There's like a different like AP test about English part. So what you feel like is which subject you feel like it's the easiest one, or you feel like they're almost the same?
I feel like the fundamentals are the same. I really do. I know there are some topical differences, and the spread of what kind of reading passages that you will read differ just a bit, but the basics are the same. The fundamentals are the same. I even, as a teacher, I love building bridges. If you guys have sunk time into studying for the SAT, there are very real bridges with the multiple choice questions, with how do they question and make literature something that's objective for multiple choice. The same types of muscles you use on SAT reading, those even become relevant to AP. And so most people wouldn't think that. So I think across both AP exams and even across other standardized tests, there is more similarity than there is difference for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Newman. Dr. Newman's class is very popular and he has a very limited spot. Okay. So yeah, you can ask him more questions in Dr. Newman's class. Thank you, Dr. Newman.
For sure, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.